We are officially halfway through 2025, so that means today it's time to sit down and talk about the best and worst trends of the year so far. I was literally just like thinking, what do I want to film? And I love talking about trends, and why don't we talk about the trends that already exist rather than predicting some? Today I'm going to give you 5 of the best trends that I actually love, I've partaken in, I've purchased, and 5 of the worst that I don't see aging well and that I think are going to be the ones that age the worst, that people will look back on and cringe at. All my opinion, it's just fashion, it's not that serious. It's gonna be a fun discussion. But before we get into that, I do want to say, if you're new here, hi, my name's Lindsay. I talk a lot about thrifting and fashion, and if that's your thing, I'd love you to stick around and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button down below. That means so much to me when you actually subscribe. Like this video as well. I never say that, but like this video, and please go follow my TikTok, which I always pops up here. Shop my Depop because I thrift a lot, so naturally I have a lot of clothes. Anyway, with that out of the way, we're gonna get right into, I'm gonna do one of one in no particular order, but I'm gonna do best, worst, best, worst, best, worst. So we're not so negative and not so positive at once. I know I said I wasn't gonna rank them, but I think the best trend that is going to age so well of 2025 and that I love and I think is one of the best trends of 2025 is polka dots. And I feel like everyone can agree with me on this. I feel like when the trend is a pattern, it makes it that much more timeless, that much more universal, that much more versatile. And I think my criteria with the trend, if I'm gonna participate, is I have to be able to thrift it, I have to love it a lot, and it has to go with other things in my wardrobe. So with polka dots, I've thrifted so many things that are polka dot. I think it looks so timeless. You could have a polka dot scarf, you could have a polka dot bag, you could have a polka dot top, you could have a full polka dot outfit, and I think it still looks good. I do have to say that I think the polka dot pattern that doesn't work is when it's different sizes of polka dot, and I don't love large polka dot. I think that looks a little strange. But small polka dots, honestly, of any color. I've thrifted a white and orange polka dot top just because I love polka dots that much. I think it's just such a timeless pattern, and I think it's so fun, and I think it's really fun to see other people take it and incorporate it into their personal style. And it's also a trend, no matter your personal style, I feel like you could incorporate it in some way. That's what proves its longevity, is its versatility. So I think polka dots will kind of just integrate themselves back into the mainstream fashion universe. Even if they're not as popular in a year, I feel like they'll still be looked upon as somewhat trendy. But not that I'd only wear it because it's trendy. I love polka dots because they're a great pattern. Okay, that's probably my favorite. I would say one of the worst. This is very specific style of item, and I think what is going to be evident in my worst trend list is they are very specific micro trends. Maybe not specific micro trends, but I had a hard time coming up with trends that I didn't like and that I thought were the worst. But these specific ones, I will have an explanation for all of them. But the first is barrel jeans. Right off the bat, it's a micro trend. It's a very specific shape. It's a very specific to the material. It has to be a stiff material so it stays that shape. It's not something that brands can interpret in different ways because it also has to be a jean. It has to be, as I said, a pant. Not like you can't do barrel shorts. You could try, and it has to be that stiff denim, and I don't like the shape of barrel jeans. They may work on different body types. I just don't personally like the look of them, and I think when we're going with a trend, versatility is so key for me in a trend, and this is what makes a micro trend, is when it literally, the trend is the one version of the item, and that's all you can do with that trend, is that one version of the item. Like, you could do different washes, but there's very little versatility in barrel jeans, different kinds of barrel jeans. So that is probably one of the worst that I feel like if we look back on, we're gonna be like, what were we doing with barrel jeans? But I just don't like them. And especially when they're so controversial in the moment that they're trending, it's like, I don't think that's going to go over well. Okay, my next best one is bloomer pants. Bloomers in themselves, but bloomer pantaloons, going into that boho, feminine, hyper feminine aesthetic with bloomer pants, pantaloons, whatever you want to call them. I've seen so many from Aritzia, I've seen so many from Free People, and I love this trend because you can make so many different versions. I saw one from Aritzia that is like linen and it's bunched. It literally is like a jogger style, but just really wide and flowy, which I would consider a pantaloon because I feel like pantaloons either flow out or like have a cinch on the leg somewhere. I don't know if there's a definite definition for pantaloon. But I think they're so fun. I love anything flowy and I really want to make my own. I made my own bloomers, which was so fun, and I'm going to Europe for a month in August. I want to make my own because it was so fun to sew, and I feel like it's so easy. You just need an elastic waist, you need a lot of fabric, and you do what you want with the pant. So I've been really enjoying seeing the different versions of bloomer pants, and again, I feel like there's vintage versions you could buy, but also new versions, and also something you could DIY yourself. So there's versatility in the materials you can use, in the colors, literally any interpretation. Just that flowy pant aesthetic goes into what we're seeing in terms of trending aesthetics. In my books, I love bloomers, and I think it's so fun to see the flowy pants because it's honestly so practical. It's so practical for the summer. Okay, this is gonna be very controversial. My next trend that I think is going to age really badly and is not something I hate, but something that is so hyper specific, again, that I think is going to die off and everyone's gonna get rid of their pair in like a year, is the skirt pant combo. I don't know exactly the brand that makes them. I always make these videos with these references in mind, and I'm so bad at attaching brand names to things. I don't know what it is. With my brain, I just like I can see them in my mind, but I don't know the brand. I'll probably put it on the screen. Those pants that have that attached skirt, I think they're really cool. I think they're really fun. I don't know if where they come from or what they're inspired by. Obviously, we saw skirts over pants in the 2000s, but I think this kind of hyper specific silhouette with the skirt detail over pants is not so timeless, just because I think it's not practical because it's unnecessary. You don't need to add a skirt fabric detail to your pants, and that's why I think it's going to age not so well, because I don't think it's practical. It's not something, it's an aesthetic choice, and I think people will get tired of it faster than other trends on this list, and that's not what I look for in a trend that I want to participate in. So as much as I think they're cute in the moment right now, I feel like in a year I'll be glad I didn't participate, if that makes any sense. The next greatest trend of 2025 so far is flip-flops, and you may be thinking like, that's not even a trend. Like, how does a flip-flop become a trend? I honestly think we haven't seen any sandal trends in so long. I love basic shoes. Like, I'm not somebody who likes being uncomfortable with my shoes. I love a good black shoe. I never really go crazy in color with my shoes. Maybe I'll go for a red, but honestly a lot of my shoes are just black, and I think with black flip-flops they honestly go with everything, and they're just so practical for the summer that I love seeing them come back and Havaianas be like a trend. And even people not buying just black flip-flops, people buying neon colored flip-flops, they're like a harmless trend. They're a basic summer silhouette that anyone can buy, and I think they literally go with every summer outfit because you just look like they're like summertime in a shoe. When you're wearing them, like, you know it's summertime. It's just the vibe. It's just so easy to slip them on. They're practical. So they meet all those criteria. They're practical. Anyone can wear them. They go with everything. And I think even if you get a fun pair that's orange or pink or whatever, it's so fun. Like, why not have fun with it? It's a practical shoe, and why not have 5 different colors? Because, not saying buy them because they're cheap, but they are practical, and obviously every fast fashion company has sold flip-flops probably every single summer season, so what harm is it if I buy an extra pair this year? You know what I mean? Okay, the next trend that I think is one of the worst of this year, and this is so sad again for me to say, because a lot of these trends I really like them, or they come to mind because they're ones that I think are just going to not do so well because of certain reasons, which makes me sad because I like them in theory. But I think skinny jeans are not going to age well, and I think we're gonna look back on this time and be like, what were we doing in 2025 with skinny jeans? Because I think unless you have like such a specific way you're styling them, I think it feels so authentic to the 2010s, but it doesn't feel authentic to 2025. I think we're always gonna look back on 2025 as the time the 2010 skinny jean came back in style, not how it integrated itself into the mainstream fashion ecosystem as its own thing and as its own trend. Another example, if you don't understand what I'm saying, like ballet flats were so popular in 2010, 2009 to 2015, whenever. I had so many pairs. They were specific silhouettes and specific styles you could date back to that time. But then 2023 rolls around and ballet flats are on the rise in new styles, in new silhouettes, in new trending ways that are indicative of it being a 2025 trend. Whereas with skinny jeans, I feel like they were a forced trend in a way. Like the Alex Earl frame skinny jeans were so forced, and It's so sad because I love the 2010s coming back. I hated the 2010s 5 years ago, but now that they're coming back in specific styles, specific aesthetics, specific ways, I don't think skinny jeans is a successful trend resurgence. Nobody's styling it differently in 2025 than they did in 2010, and I think that's what's gonna age it so bad as being a 2025 trend, because we never really took it in stride and created something that made sense for 2025 trend cycle. Skinny jeans will always be attached to the 2010s, and until we can find a time and until we can hold space for them in the 2020s or the 2030s, until we can find a time where they work with the current trend cycle, I don't think 2025 was the year. So I think it's a failed trend. Fashion trends become popular because more people like them. I feel like skinny jeans are more on the rise because people are hate liking them just to be different. Like, if you know, like, I could talk about this for so long because I think it's so interesting with skinny jeans. We have not integrated them into the 2025 trend cycle, so they're not a 2025 trend. They're stuck in the 2010s until we can bring them into a fashion trend cycle that makes sense for the time, and 2025 is not the time for them. The fourth one of my best for 2025 is ballet sneakers. And as I said about ballet flats were such a successful resurgence of a trend that we made our own in 2025. Ballet sneakers are indicative of this because we saw ballet flats and then they evolved. The trend evolved into something more. I know ballet sneakers were a thing, like with Adidas, and Puma had some speed cats in like the 2000s, which I think is also a reason why these came back. They weren't such like a new invention, but we saw ballet flats become so successful as a trend, they evolved into more. And I think ballet sneakers are such a practical trend because they are comfortable. They work for people who don't like sneakers. I am such a sneaker running shoe trainers hater. I don't think I could ever style a pair of sneakers that looks good in my brain. I just don't like the silhouettes. I've honestly tried to. I have Sambas, like I tried. So that's why I bought the Adidas Taekwondo My Ballet Flats in the silver color. I love them. They're so comfortable, and I really needed a comfortable shoe because my feet literally kill me every time I wear ballet flats or any other shoe that's not comfortable for extended periods of time. So that's why I love a ballet sneaker. It's practical, they're cute in my books and for my closet, and I love seeing a trend evolve into something more, and that just proves that the longevity of this trend will continue, and we'll probably see ballet flats as another shoe to add to our rotation because they were gone for so long and then they came back, and I feel like they're just going to stay for a while. And I love seeing that because I love seeing longevity in trends. Micro trends are so damaging, so I love a good shoe trend that stays. My second to last worst trend is not really a trend specifically. It is a styling choice, and it is aggressive accessories. And I want you to think like Labubus, and I want you to think like Labubus in the sense that they're just so in your face. I don't want to be like a hater because I think if that's your style, amazing. I love that for you. And I want to tell you the quote that I feel like I live by is always take off something before you leave the house, like a part of your outfit. I think it's always take off one accessory before you leave the house. And I think that's so important because I think when we're styling and we're really having fun with fashion, it can sometimes be overdone. Myself layering pieces and like thinking layering looks good. I think you can own individually cool accessories, cool pieces. When you overdo it, it's too much. You need to have that discernment of knowing when enough is enough, and you can still be loud with your outfits. You can have so many accessories on, but it has to make sense, and I think we've kind of lost the plot with this. And I don't like judging other people and how they style things, but I think you just see so many people wearing colorful sneakers, a colorful jersey with a scarf on their head, and it kind of gives microtrend final boss, if that makes any sense. Because sometimes it is a lot of microtrends put together, and I think when we put so many colorful things or so many micro trends together, it just gets to be too much, and I think we kind of lose that ability to decide when it's too much with our outfits just because we think it looks good because it's trendy to do so, to put on so many accessories. I guess I'm calling this aggressive accessorizing as a trend I don't like. When I'm looking at somebody's outfit and I don't know where to look. I don't know what the star of the show is in the outfit. I don't know what what makes sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know where to look in your outfit. Like, it's almost too much for the eye to take in, and I don't think that's a good thing. Like, I think taking off a few before you leave the house is always just a good thought to have. Even if you don't actually take something off, it's a good thought to have. Just a lesson in how you style things and a lesson in personal style. Honestly, less is more sometimes, and for this kind of trend and kind of outfit, aggressive accessorizing, I think we need to live by that a bit more. Okay, my last one for the best trends of 2025. I'm gonna say it, and I could say this 10 billion times, is bangles. I know I'm not wearing that many today. I normally am decked out in bangles, And I think I love bangles so much. I think they're gonna age so well because as somebody who struggles to accessorize, I don't love necklaces. I really struggle to layer necklaces, honestly, in a way that I think looks good. And with bangles, I literally will throw 20 on my wrist and I feel so cool and I just love the sound they make. And I feel like it's just so me. Like, I feel like that's the accessory that I just feel so good in and in excessive amounts. And you could totally be disagreeing with me and saying necklaces are my thing. I hate bracelets. Sensory issues, like honestly anything. We've just seen resurgence of bangles. I think they're so fun. I think they make an outfit look so much better because you just have such an easy accessory. You could just like throw on 4 and add so much to your outfit, especially when you're just like in a rush to accessorize. Like sometimes I spend too much time thinking about earrings or having an interesting earring. I'll just put on a silver hoop and 10 bangles and then I'm good to go and I feel complete. I think I just struggle to feel like my outfit's ever been completely complete in terms of accessories, and bangles have just been the answer to my prayers on this. Again, you can thrift them. That is number 1 on my why I would participate in a trend list. Why I would participate in a trend requirement list is if I can thrift them. I've thrifted so many. I love bangles and I think everyone should wear bangles. Okay, and then my last one that is the worst trend of 2025, kind of a trend that's been around for a bit, but I feel like we've been seeing so much of, is matching sets. And you may be like staring at me like, why is this a bad thing? Aren't matching sets supposed to be a good thing for fashion and trends and make things easier? But I think we've gone to a point with matching sets where they're too much and too aggressive. I think it's such a great easy outfit. It makes getting dressed so easy. But I think matching sets, when it's such a specific color palette, could be like a plaid, it could be a stripe, it could be a polka dot. If it's too much in one set and that's the only way you can wear it is as a set, it's not worth it. I think with matching sets we need to basicify it, if that makes any sense. I think matching sets are so great when it's a top and a skirt. Like Cotton just came out with so many good matching sets that are so versatile in terms of you could wear the skirt separately from the top, you could wear the top separately from the bottom. You know it's gonna look good. But when you have such like a specific color of a shirt, a hyper specific pattern that you only like as a set, it's not gonna do well in your closet and it's not going to age well in your closet or in terms of trendiness. And that's why I think with matching sets, I think they came from a place of good intent in terms of making things look effortless and easy for you, but I feel like they don't look effortless in this I think that kind of backfired because I feel like we've gone to a point where they don't look effortless. It just looks so too trendy in terms of color, pattern, cuts even. They've just become another micro trend. And we need to get back to the place where I want to buy a matching set because it looks effortless and I can wear the pieces in different ways and it will go well with other things in my closet rather than just having a matching set that you can only wear as a matching set. So that's my last worst trend of 2025. I think it's a fun topic to talk about trends that I personally don't like and trends I personally don't think are going to last, and also trends that I think are going to last and trends that I like coming from my own experience with fashion and my own preferences. I could change my mind in a year. As I said, you could prove me wrong in a year saying, you know what, excessive layering is actually, aggressive accessorizing is actually the new thing. I would be wrong. So again, I think fashion is fun to talk about. Let me know some trends, your best and worst of the year so far down below. I would love to chat with you in the comments about this. I think it's so fun to talk about trends and I think it's fun to do this mid-year because you kind of reflect on what I've been wearing. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow my TikTok. Please subscribe, go shop my Depop, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you.